Hey everybody, welcome back to the Paranormal Rush Hour. I'm your host, Ryan Rush, and yep, I'm still here. I've been dealing with some stuff, so, whatever. But I'm back, and I am going to be coming back more frequently now. So, I want to thank all of my new subscribers right off the bat. I really appreciate everybody who's joined us over here at the PRH. I have literally the best audience that anybody could ever ask for. And I appreciate you guys so much. So thank you. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. Would really appreciate it. And that way you won't miss any of these unbelievable, amazing episodes that I will bring to you. So that being said, this is kind of funny, actually. I'm going to tell you guys a little story real quick before I get to this Sam email. I was coming down here the other night, and I forgot the keys to my studio. So I was just going to go in through my garage door, roll-up door that I have on here. And I opened it up, and there was some of the weather stripping was like hanging down. And I was not really thinking about anything like that, and I felt something hit my head. And then when it hit my head, it bounced off my shoulder and landed on the ground. So, like a moron, I reached down to try to pick it up, and I felt that it was not a stick or a piece of weather stripping like I assumed it was. Nah, it was a snake. So I get my light out, and like I should have done in the first place, and look at it, and yeah, sure enough, it was a snake. And it was not a poisonous snake, luckily. And I just let it go ahead and live if, in the storage area, because it can't hurt to have a rat snake around. So anyway, but I mean, sometimes, I think the universe keeps us in check by doing things like that, because I think I'd gotten a little too lax about snakes and not checking before I reach down and pick something up. So let that be a lesson to all of us. Remember, get your light out first if you can't see what you're about to touch. All right. Anyway, so this email is really, really wild. This one's from Sam. This is not a normal Sam email. This one is a lot different from what Sam typically sends us. So I'm going to pull this up and read this for you guys, because it is really cool. I mean, really cool. I did not expect to hear about this from Sam. So you guys know what Sam typically writes, and this is not along those lines. So I'll go ahead and just start it off, because I'm sure you guys are so into hearing what I'm saying right now. Anyway. All right. Hi, Ryan. I have really been enjoying all the longer episodes of your show. I just thought it was time to give you a break and write in, LOL. This is going to be a little different than what I typically write to you. This is a story about when I met someone else in the forest. I was solo hiking in an area of the Smokies on Mount LeConte. I know you are familiar with those mountains, but for those who aren't, there is a small cabin on the mountain that is used by hikers and park employees, and who knows what else. To be perfectly transparent with everyone, I used to go up there and look for Dennis Martin. Anyone familiar with the missing 411 cases should know all about that one. I just always had a feeling he was up there somewhere, and it became sort of a hobby of mine to go try to figure it out. This was well before anyone had ever heard of the missing people phenomenon that is so well known now. I was nearing the little cabin when it began raining, so I decided to stay there for the night. Back then, not sure how it is now, there was a big landscape timber that barricaded the door from the inside. The one-room cabin was equipped with 2 bunks and a table and chair. There was a ledger at the time, which we all signed for fun, just to let each other know we had used the place, and when I read it, the last name written on the ledger was Banyan, which is one of those that sticks out in your mind. and it had been dated 2 days prior to my arrival. I signed it and settled in and sat on the porch a while, watching the rain fall, when I noticed someone coming my way. This was not too unusual for the Smokies, and I didn't think much of it. The man walked up to the cabin, drenched with rain, and asked very politely if I minded him staying for a bit. I, of course, said it was fine and offered him what I could, which was just a little food and a jacket. It was spring, and the rain cooled the day off pretty fast. He thanked me for my generous offer, but said he had plenty of provisions of his own. He goes inside and changes into dry clothes, then joins me on the porch. He looked a bit shaken, and I asked if everything was okay. He said he was fine, but had just seen something very unsettling to him. Me, being who I am, thought for sure he was going to say he done seen a Bigfoot. But that wasn't it. I could tell he was not sure if he needed to tell me at first, but because he said, "I don't know if you'll believe this. I am having a very hard time with it myself, and I just saw it." I said with a slight laugh, "Just try me." And he smiled and then began his story. I will recount it in first person as he told it to me. He said, "I was just hiking along, and suddenly the entire forest went dead silent. No birds, no wind, nothing. At that time, I started to get a dreadful feeling. It actually scared me. I looked around and found a really big oak tree right off of the path, so I sat at the bottom of the tree with my back on the trunk. I must have fallen asleep because the next thing I know, I feel a tap on my shoulder. When I turn to look at whatever tapped me, I see a small man standing beside the tree less than a foot from me. I jumped up very fast because his appearance was not normal for a person at all. I looked at him, and he was no more than 3.5 feet tall at the most. His eyes were pitch black and had pale white skin with creases like leather. He had a long bushy beard that was not all one color. It had grays, reds, browns, and blacks. And he was wearing a hooded cloak tied with a rope around the waist and black boots. No pants were visible. He then opened his mouth, and the teeth were pointed gray with a pointed gray tongue. He began making a noise that I can't relate to anything. Sam says, he tried to imitate it the best he could, and it was not describable. Back to the first person. As he made the noise, he started lifting off of the ground and raised up to my eye level. Sam says, this guy was about 6'2". That was when I started to see that his black eyes were glowing red right where the pupils should be. This thing was levitating. I didn't know what to do, and I was scared out of my wits. I had been slowly backing away when all of this happened, so I could put some distance between us. And then I got really angry. More angry than I had ever been, and I charged right at him. He very swiftly dropped straight down and went right into the ground. Not 2 seconds after he disappeared, it started raining. I immediately stopped being angry and got very confused. I didn't know where I was. I saw that there was a path, so I began following it, praying it would lead me somewhere I could recognize. And that's when I saw you sitting here at the cabin. And I just realized something. These are not my boots I'm wearing. Okay, back to Sam. I didn't know what on earth to think about this, so I said in an attempt to empathize, well, I have seen some very unbelievable things in my life as well, so I don't think you're crazy at all. Then I told him my name, and he said, well, it's really nice to meet you. I'm Banyan. My jaw hit the deck. I said, Banyan? And he said, yeah, I know it's not a common name. I ran into the cabin to get the ledger. I said, "Is this you?" He said, "Yeah, that is absolutely my name and handwriting, but I have never stayed here and I did not even know where there was a ledger." I said, "Banyan, do you have any family that knows where you are?" And he said, "Yeah, of course. I always tell my mom and girlfriend where I'm going." I wasted no time in telling him to come on. We need to get to the ranger post ASAP. He was almost too scared to go back down the path, but I assured him I had the best protection anyone could ever wish for in the woods. Ha ha ha. He and I went to the nearest ranger post, and they said, "Banyan Doe? Whoa, there are some people very worried about you." I stayed with him until his mom and girlfriend arrived, and I saw the elation on their faces. Banyan had been missing for almost 3 days. He had no idea. He thought this was all the same day. He never remembered going to the cabin or signing the book or anything before I had seen him. I still check up on him, and he is doing great. This happened a long time ago, and I have never heard of another witness description that matches what he told me until you did the episode on goblins. It gave me chills because after it all happened, Nyasa told me exactly what they are, and it is not good at all. They are just one of the things out there that will, with the ability to take people, and they will never be found again. She was certain that if he had not gotten the strange spurt of anger, he would have never met me. It always seemed so strange to me how my purpose that day was to find a missing person. And although it wasn't the one I was looking for, I'm so glad I was there to help someone else. I'm going to end this one here, Ryan. But fear not, because I will send more soon, LOL. I am looking forward to hearing about your next topic. I always learn from you, and that is the best gift I could ever receive from someone. I hope my contributions are an adequate repayment. Thank you, and take care. Cheers, Sam. Sam, that was awesome. I mean, that was a really cool story, and I cannot believe that happened. I mean, that's wild. And that's a lot like some I've heard before, and I've had people share with me before. So, man, anyway, I'm glad you were there and could help someone. I mean, there's no telling how many people go through something like that and never find their way back. I mean, that's strange right there. And that freaks me out. So, that's a good thing that you were there. Anyway, I guess that's about all I'm going to do right now, everybody. But, as always, leave me a comment and let me know what you think about all that. And I will be back with you guys really soon. I have a lot more emails that I need to share with you guys and a lot more topics that I am ready to talk about. So, I will be back very soon. Until then, everybody, please stay safe and take care. And take it easy. And I'll see you guys soon.